We're losing yet another YouTube legend. In a moment that rivaled the ascension of Jesus Christ himself, MatPat posted a video to his Game Theorist channel titled Goodbye Internet, where he explains that very soon he will be stepping down from being the face of his channels. Which came as a surprise to myself as well as just about everyone else on the internet because, well, Game Theory and all of his other channels are still going so strong. There weren't any signs of slowing down. In fact, everything seemed to be picking up. He launched a brand new channel called Style Theory not too long ago, and already he's kind of leaving that behind. But nonetheless, in the video, he explains that this is something that he's been planning on doing for several years at this point, just didn't know exactly when, and this moment just seemed to be the right time. Just like a lot of other YouTubers who have been doing the same thing, most notably recently Tom Scott posted a video talking about how he wants to slow things down and just enjoy life while putting a lot less focus on work. And MatPat basically recites the same thing here. He wants to slow everything down, focus a lot less on work, and focus more on his family and just in general enjoying life. Because this man has been doing YouTube for 13 years. A moment ago when I said that we are losing another legend, I meant it. I definitely consider MatPat to be one of the godfathers of YouTube. In fact, I've been watching him ever since he had less than 500,000 subscribers, maybe even less than 100,000. I'm not exactly sure where I fall into the game theory lore, but I distinctly remember the very first video of his that I watched was about the companion cube from Portal and how he thought that it was actually made out of people. And ever since that day, I got to watch this man grow his channel into an absolute empire. At this point, he has 4 different channels, 5 if you count his live channel, and every single one has become one of the biggest channels in each of their respective categories. His main channel, Game Theory alone, has over 18 million subscribers, and all of his other channels, Film Theory, Food Theory, Style Theory, all of those channels are also doing really well, including the last one, Style Theory, which launched within this last year. So MatPat, rightfully so, has become a monolith of the YouTube platform. But at this point, he says he only has 10 more videos and several more live streams until he steps down completely. So in the video, he spends the first good portion just reminiscing over his success on YouTube and just basically talking about how grateful he is for all of the success he's been able to have and just how excited he is that he's been able to touch so many lives and entertain so many people for so many years. And not only that, but his phrase, "But hey, that's just a theory, a game theory," is so commonly referenced. I've done it myself too.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory.
It gets pretty corny, tears are shed, but overall, it's a wholesome moment and I can't be anything but happy for the guy. But just because he's stepping away as the face of the channels aren't going anywhere. Each of them are still going to have regular uploads, just without him. At this point, he's passing on the torch to 4 of his staff members who are each going to host a different channel. Meanwhile, MatPat will still be there, but taking more of a background role in the company, brainstorming ideas and just doing some general planning. But he also mentions that he's working on several projects of his own, which are presumably separate from all of his theory channels. So it seems he's still going to be working on content. It's just going to be more on his own terms and on his own time. So what does this mean for his channels? Yeah, he's passing on the torch, there's still going to be uploads, but are they going to be able to survive such a big change? We've seen channels rebrand before. This was a while ago, but it's the one that comes to mind. Fred was one of the biggest icons on YouTube in its early years, and when the man behind it all, Lucas, stepped away from it and it became more of a kids hosted channel, I don't really know what's happening with it anymore. And I guess that's the point. As soon as he left it, it fell out of relevancy. So are the Theorist channels going to meet the same fate? If MatPat isn't the face of them, are they going to be able to survive? Well, this is actually something he addresses in the video. He acknowledges the fact that there isn't going to be another MatPat. And I think no matter how you spin it, with him leaving, there's just no way the channels are going to go on without taking some sort of viewership hit. How significant that'll be, I couldn't say. I doubt it'll be enough to kill the channels, but with a change this big enough, it's bound to happen. And I think MatPat knows this, but he's also hopeful because his staff members have been working with him for a long time. He seems pretty confident that the people he's passing his channels onto are just as passionate and capable of running them as himself. And even though, again, they won't be able to just outright replace him, they can't come in and just be like, oh, hello, I'm the new MatPat. He seems pretty hopeful that they'll be able to establish their own names, put their own spins on the channel, insert their own personalities, and become brands that will hopefully rival himself. And he makes an interesting point related to Doctor Who with how David Tennant was replaced with Matt Smith, and even though a lot of people on the team were doubtful of this transition, Matt Smith was able to take this character, make it his own, and arguably become bigger than David Tennant. I don't know, I haven't watched Doctor Who in a long time, but I think when people think of Doctor Who, it's David Tennant and Matt Smith that come to mind, and a lot of people trade off between which one was better. I would say that if I'm thinking of Doctor Who, David Tennant is the Doctor that comes to mind, but I grew up with Matt Smith. I loved his quirky spin on the Doctor, and frankly, he's my favorite. Sorry, David Tennant, you're pretty good too. Anyway, getting a little off track, the point is that the channels are going to be going through some big changes. They are probably going to struggle as MatPat transitions out, but I'm excited to see the new direction that these channels take. I don't keep up with any of the theory channels as much as I used to, but perhaps the new people could reel me back in. Who knows? But yeah, it was just a big surprise to me and a shock to the whole internet hearing this news that he's going to be leaving YouTube. I don't know why in my mind I expected every YouTuber ever to continue making videos until they were 90, but obviously that hasn't been the case. We've been seeing a lot more people leave their channels behind. But you know what? I'm glad that a lot of them are able to leave it with their heads held high. We all know that there's plenty of channels that have become barren wastelands after their owners have basically been forced to abandon them. But I'm glad to see more and more YouTubers get to leave their work behind or even pass it on to a new group of people while they're still ahead. To be able to look back on what they've been able to create and just be proud of it. Know that they accomplished what they wanted to do, and it's okay if they don't really want to do more. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this today because even though there's been a lot of these recently, this one hit a little more home for me because I did grow up watching MatPat. Also, I just want to mention this. MatPat is 37? Jesus Christ, I had no idea. 30 would have been my max guess, but I would have gone for more like 28. Probably would have been my guess. But no, he's a whole decade older than what I would have thought. I need a theory on how this man keeps his youth. I never would have thought that he was older than like PewDiePie, who I must also add looks perfectly fine for his age. He's not even that old. I don't know why I have to say this. Anyway, not to get sidetracked again, I'm just glad to see this trend of more YouTubers getting to leave their channels behind on good terms. So with that, I just wanted to end this on thank you, MatPat, for the many years of entertainment. Thank you for your many theories, and thank you for inspiring us all, including myself. Anyway, about that's it from me.